Switching Wi-Fi signals. Stand by. Let's see if we have a feed. Where is the Morning Buzz feed? Are we up? It's St. Patty's Day. Good morning. Are we awake? Let's see here. Let me check my sound. This is what happens when you don't have a producer. You have to do everything yourself. Stand by. Let me check my... Oh, all right. Confirmed. Sound is on board. There's a little bit of a delay when we go from what I'm doing here to where it goes out into internet land. And so I had to make sure that the sound was coming through properly, and it sounds like it is on your end. So good morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day. It is March 17th, 2021. Welcome to the Morning Buzz. I'm Mike Brady. I'm the host. It's the show that is centered around news, information, positivity, and community. Yes, this is the community. So we have a busy show today. I mean, it's like jam-packed, and then next week's show schedule is filling up as well, which is exciting. So let me see here. I get the right papers. I'm going out today after the show to St. Patrick's Day celebrations, and I cannot remember the last time I actually went out somewhere during on St. Patrick's Day to an Irish pub or a bar or anything like that to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So it's kind of one of those things you don't typically do as a parent raising children on a normal weekday, right? But I promised Rob, who is a traveling nurse staying on our property, him and his wife are from Pennsylvania, and they do a big celebration out there every year for St. Patrick's Day. And so Rob texted me the other day and asked if there's a St. Patrick's Day celebration going on in town, and you know where they should go to see the parade and all this. And I'm like, yeah, we don't do parades out on the West Coast. It's not our thing. Excuse me. But that being said, I did say, you know what, we'll take you around to some different spots and see what's happening out there for St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, I'm gonna go all kinds of places to go. But what I figured out is there's not a really good place to look online to see everything that's going on any given day at every single establishment. So yeah, I remember being in LA in the late 90s. They had the LA Weekly, right, that you could flip through, and it had like every single venue and every single bar listed every single day, like the schedule of what was going on. And I had to find, I found myself this morning in prepping the list of things going on today. I found myself this morning kind of scrolling through Instagram, clicking on individual places like Pappy McGregor's and Barrel House Brewing Company and Tin City Cider Company, all these different places, clicking on them to see individually what each one had going on. And so that there needs to be a better way for us to compile all of that information to like a digital format that is just a link that somebody can click on every single day, pick the place they want to go, and see what's going on that day. So if you're a computer programmer out there, that's a project for you to compile all of that data. I mean, if we had a staff here at the Morning Buzz, then it would be something that I could say, hey, let's scan all of these venues, all of these wineries, every single place in town, every single day, and put together a list of what's happening every day. But I think we're a few years away from that. So it is 7:04. Let's check the weather outside. It's hopefully warming up a little. It's 34 degrees right now. It's going to get up to 57 by 4 p.m. And there's no rain in the forecast, which is good. Sun is rising in 5 minutes, so make sure you're looking out to the east. It's going to come up in 5 minutes. 10% chance of rain. The sun sets at 7:12 tonight. So there is that. All right, so St. Patrick's Day, things going on. We've got a busy show. What's our lineup look like? Today is Wednesday. We're going to have news and headlines with Anthony from Paso Robles Incidents and Actions. He's coming in at 7:15. Mr. Mack at 7:30. Eric Lewis is going to do a history lesson with us at 7:45. 7:55, we're going to do some more news. 8 o'clock, Coach Crow's coming in to talk about the team, talk about the game, what it looks like for us this week, Friday night, what we can expect. And then we're going to have a district update with Mr. Burnett or Mr. Asplund or both of them again. So that's going to be at 8:15. And at 8:30, we're going to check in with a fellow Templeton Eagle, former staff member at the high school, the athletic director, Lindsay Franklin. She's going to be joining us this morning at 8:30, talking about what she's doing these days. We'll get a check in with her and see how everything is going with her. So that's Lindsay Franklin at 8:30 this morning. And so we have a full packed schedule. Yesterday we had a great show. We had a couple different guests on that were Christine Ames. She does homeschool support, which is amazing, for Templeton Unified. She came on again. She's been with the district for 24 plus years. In different various positions, but she is now in a role that supports homeschool children and families. And she's also on the committee that raised funds for the senior class this year. And so she shared a little bit of what they're doing in terms of how they're raising that money. So it's an amazing thing. There's a See's Candy fundraiser that they're doing. The link is in yesterday's show. Let me see if I can get that See's Candy. See's Candy. Yeah, it's I'm gonna drop the link in the show here. Make sure that you guys have access to it. You can click on that link that I just shared, and then you can order some candy to support the senior class. And if you go down to the section where it's the Easter eggs, those Easter eggs is what they have the most profit on as a senior class. So highly suggest you buy some Easter eggs for the senior class fundraising committee. Let's see, what else did we have? Melissa Johnson. She's awesome. She came on and talked about what the Parks and Rec department is doing. So that's cool. They need help. They need people to volunteer. A paid position available for umpires for girls softball on a couple different days of the week. She told me, I think it's Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. So Melissa Johnson at the Parks and Rec department. That was a great interview. I cut it up and put it on the Facebook page separately so you can see all the things that Melissa's been up to in the last year and all the things that we can look forward to. So Parks and Rec department is looking for volunteer umpires. And I believe she said they get paid between $30 and $50 a game. They have to be 14 years old or older. And there's going to be a clinic on March 27th to teach you how to be an umpire. So, boy, I got to be honest, some umpires need to go to that class. I'm just kidding. I know people, it's a thing to make fun of umpires, I guess. But so Parks and Rec department. She also touched on the concerts in the park, what we can expect this year in terms of concerts in the park. And the short answer is she is not hopeful that the concerts in the park series will happen this year, just because in the current tier that we're in right now, I don't even remember what tier we're in right now, but the tier that we're in right now doesn't allow for us to have an inclusive event, which means it includes everybody. And traditionally, the concerts in the park is an event that is held in a public space, in a city or county park, and it's free to attend, and as many people that want to go can go. Set up lawn chairs, enjoy snacks, those types of things, and nice music, sunset, all that stuff. Well, the current situation that we have as a county and the guidance with our tier status is that the event, if we were to hold concerts in the park right now, then it would only allow for us to have like 50 to 100 people. And so that would turn it into an exclusive event where we would have to turn people away. And I say we, like I'm going to be the one doing it, but where they would have to turn people away from the event. And that is not the goal of Concerts in the Park. The goal of Concerts in the Park is to have an inclusive community event that is free for anybody to enjoy. And so, barring any crazy changes in tier statuses and reopening plans and this and that, she said best case scenario as of now, it looks like maybe September, October, or an abbreviated version of Concerts in the Park. So, but that's obviously something that I'll continue to ask her on a weekly basis to get an update, because it's something that she's going to report on for us. She's going to be in every Friday from here on out at 8:15 talking about what's going on with the Parks and Rec department and all the activities they do. Speaking of activities, they do a lot of stuff for seniors. They do a lot of stuff for kids, school-age children, adults. I mean, you name it. They've got different things going on at any given time. So that's really cool that she does that. So she came in, Mr. Aston came in. We checked in with him yesterday to see how the welcome back to school was going with kids being back on the high school campus. And so he was very happy with how that had rolled out. They had a few minor hiccups, but nothing to write home about. So it seemed like all of the kids were in good spirits. A little timid, a little unsure of how to act, and a little quiet. But I think that this is just like first day of school jitters, and it's probably going to wear off, and the kids will be back to their normal selves pretty quickly. I did see on Facebook somebody posted that it was great to see these kids actually getting dressed in like normal school clothes and getting out of the house. And I have to agree with that. It is kind of cool to see them having normal clothes on instead of pajamas to tackle their school day. So, all right, so I'm wearing my green St. Patrick's Day. What's going on out in the world today with St. Patrick's Day? Lots of stuff. We'll start. I'm going to run through this a few times today, so if you miss it right now or whatever, we've got news coming up in 3-4 minutes, but I'll just get started with what's going on. Pappy McGregor's out in Paso. 6 a.m. they opened an hour ago. So maybe there's some of you actually streaming this right now as you're sitting outside under the heater at Pappy McGregor's drinking an Irish car bomb. So good morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day. They opened at 6. They have classic Irish food all day, food, drink, and festivities. Pappy McGregor's. The Poorhouse opens at 2. Irish music, food, $4 pints. Tent City in Atascadero, $4 stouts, $11 corned beef. They've got Irish music from 6 to 8 today. Jack's here in Templeton. Jack's is awesome. They're doing regular hours today, as far as I can tell from their Instagram. But they have corned beef, cabbage, roasted herb peppers, and they ask that you wear green. So that's at Jack's. Barrel House opened at 6 a.m. I probably will go to Barrel House at some point today because they're awesome. 6 a.m. green beer, nitro stout, and food. Corned beef hash burritos. Yes, please. Corned beef cabbage tacos. Why not? Dublin burger. No idea what that is. I should probably look at that. And Irish breakfast burger. Sounds amazing. And car bomb cakes. I couldn't read my writing. That's all at Barrel House with their food truck and all of the drinks that they have available. Calco's Beer in Paso opens at noon. They've got progressive pints happening, which means $3 at 3 o'clock, $4 at 4 o'clock, and $5 at 5 o'clock, and then $5 there on out till closing at 8. Streetside Ale House in Paso, $5 Jameson shots, Guinness pints, $7, Irish Slammers, whatever that is, $8.50, and peanut butter bombs, $8.50. So lots of different things. Amy and Jamie's place, if you want to just stay home but have a traditional Irish meal, you can order from Amy and Jamie's place. I would imagine you got to get the order in here pretty quickly because pickup is today from 4 to 6, but it's $18.95 a meal. It includes corned beef, red potatoes, cabbage, carrots, and fresh rolls, and a dessert. So that is happening. Call to order 805-434-1800. Pick up between 4 and 6 today. So at this time, it is time to check in with our man, Anthony from Path Global's and Actions. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's St. Patrick's Day, and you're wearing red, green.
Well, I'm a Bearcat at heart, so I got to keep the Bearcats.
All right. Fair enough. Oh, that's awesome. All right. So what's happening out in the world? Anything exciting going on in the news?
Yeah, actually, there has been a breaking of silence from Paul Flores' mother, Susan Flores. Just to recap over the last couple of days, the San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Department conducted a search warrant in the 700 block of White Court in Arroyo Grande. That would be the house of parents of Paul Flores. So the people that live there is Ruben Flores and Susan Flores. On Monday, this happened, and it was, and they used cadaver dogs and ground penetrator to like contract or to see if like DNA has been detected, stuff like that. And so I thought it was interesting yesterday that KSBY actually got an interview with Susan Flores. She hasn't spoken out in 25 years. And I will put the link in the chat to the 30-minute discussion that was had by KSBY with Susan Flores. I'll put that here in a minute. And so I took some notes on the interview, and I thought it was real interesting that there was a lot of hesitation on Susan's part. Obviously, this is an investigation that's ongoing, and she doesn't want to give any leads or any of that sort of thing in terms of like compromising the investigation. So the Sheriff's Department wrapped up their investigation yesterday at around 2 p.m. I was watching it on Facebook, and so kind of what that entailed was just they did some digging kind of in and around and under the house. The Sheriff's Department did put out a statement yesterday that said that their search warrant is conducted. Everything can kind of go back to normal on that street, but we're not saying what we found or if we found anything. So that's kind of the breaking news in terms of that this morning. So.
Yeah, I woke up and I actually saw that story and watched the full interview, and I found it interesting that she would actually even do the interview at this point.
Right. Yeah, I thought the same thing.
So who knows? I'm not here to speculate. I obviously the court of public opinion in the last 25 years has swayed one way, and probably just due to the events that have transpired and the fact that Paul Flores was the last one that was seen with her Kristen Smart alive, and so I think the whole county obviously is watching this case closely, and it's going to be we all hope and wish that there's closure at some point for the Smart family and also for the Flores family. So that's it's just a tragic situation all the way around, especially for a young girl who probably most likely lost her life. So all right. Keep an eye on that story. What else is going on in the county? Anything what did I see? Is there a house fire or something going on?
Yeah, there was a house fire yesterday on the side of Target in the Oak Knoll neighborhood of Target yesterday, off of 46 West and Theater Drive. I don't know the extent of the fire. I was kind of busy yesterday afternoon, so I didn't get that detailed of a story on that. But I'll have something for you in the next hour. And so, other than that, it's St. Patrick's Day, like you were talking about earlier, and I just want to repeat some statistics from last year. The CHP responded to 327 fatal alcohol-related crashes in 2020, and also last year they made about 67 arrests for DUI under drugs. So that would mean like driving on the highway, driving to events, driving to bars this morning, like you were talking about earlier. Just be safe. Do what you want, but in doing what you want, be cognizant of other people and be safe. Is the CHP's message. Reporting from the Sheriff's Department. Just what I talked about earlier with the Kristen Smart case. Just kind of keep your eyes peeled for any press releases or like up to the moment, like spur of the moment search warrants. Again, I have a feeling, if I can just put my opinion in right here, I have a feeling that there's going to be some more search warrants in the near future. So we'll be looking out for that as well. But other than that, Mike, that's all I have for you for this hour.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll check back in with you here at 7:55. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, Anthony. We'll talk to you in a bit. All right, so that's Anthony Reed, Paso Robles Incidents and Actions. He runs that Facebook page. That page has 50 some odd hundred followers, and Anthony does a really good job of reporting all the incidents happening in the North County and really kind of countywide, but primarily focusing on the North County. And so we have added him to kind of drop some news because let's be honest, I'm not the greatest at delivering real-time news. I'm not tracking it typically. So it's nice to have, somebody that is focused on that as well. I'm looking for a post here on Facebook that I wanted to share. Somebody share. There we go. I'm going to pull up my screen and share it. This is something that we should remind everybody. Boom. And let's see here. How do I do this? Share. Okay. So now I'm sharing it on my end, but I'm going to share it on your end. Okay, so this is a graphic that San Luis Obispo Police Department put up. And so it's the title is Avoid Party Regret. Here we go. The COVID safety enhancement zone is still in effect. Laws are strictly enforced and fines are doubled. Drunk in public arrests and fines starting at $507. Arrest, loss of license, and fines starting at $5,000 for DUI. Public health violation fines starting at $1,000. Open container fines starting at $700. Noise violation fines starting at $700. And so obviously, help prevent the spread of COVID-19 by wearing a mask, maintaining physical distance, washing your hands, and avoid social gatherings. If you feel sick, this is important, stay home. Porta potties will be installed downtown. So that's in San Luis Obispo. Obviously, I'm not making the trek over the grade to get to SLO. But look, the point is mask up, wash your hands, stay home. And you can use those rules and apply them really in every situation today. And so that will help you stay safe. I also saw, I wanted to add something else that's happening is Santa Maria Brewing Company, and their spot down in Atascadero opened at 6:30 a.m. and they have all kinds of things going on today, different specials and whatnot. So I actually like Santa Maria Brewing Company's beer. I just wish it wasn't called Santa Maria Brewing Company. I think that's just the North County in me, you know. Anyways, I did want to plug tomorrow on the show. This is cool. We've got two things happening. So there's a new store in Atascadero that's called the Mercantile, and the Mercantile is owned and operated and ran by a family, the Garrett family. Matt Garrett grew up with me and Pastor Robles, FFA kid. His kids started making soaps and candles and lotions, goat milk stuff, and they've been at this for a few years now. But they've kind of taken that next step and opening up a brick and mortar place for the community to come in and shop and also see their production, which is really cool. So we've been buying their soap for a couple years. It's phenomenal. If you've never tried goat milk soap, that's handmade. It's really good for your skin. They've got different fragrances, all kinds of stuff. So Matt is going to give us a tour of the Mercantile, talk about their story. And again, this was a company started by his kids. I think Aiden started it at the age of like 10 or something, or somewhere around there. So really cool story, a family affair. It's kind of like local small town at its finest. This is the stuff that we live for, and we just want to come out in full force as a community to support him, his family, and that endeavor that they have. So we're going to do an interview with him. We're going to pre-tape that interview today and then air it tomorrow. And just because they've got such a tight schedule, it's the only way that we could get it in to tell their story this week. And so look forward to that being on the show tomorrow. Also, Jack Chirac is the head of the Templeton High School Esports Club. Esports, in case you don't know, is sports gaming online on video, right? So video games, they call it esports. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and there are real people making a real living as professional esports athletes these days. And so, tournament style playing video games, and there's professional franchises that are owned by multi-millionaire people that have these esports franchises. These esports teams compete against each other. So it's a whole nother world that's out there. And, parents, if you're yelling at your kids for playing video games all the time, you might want to yell harder so they work harder at it, because they could be an professional esports athlete at some point. So Jack is going to open up our minds and open up our minds to that world, and just kind of talk about what it's like being an esports athlete, what they're doing with the club, the different competitions they got going. And if you haven't followed them on their Instagram page, I mean, every school for the most part has an esports club, and it's a big deal. These guys have these tournaments and competitions. So it's really fun to think about other ways that kids can interact with each other and compete against each other. And then not just kids, it's another way for another path, right? For a kid to go to earn a living, be a productive member of society, blah, blah, blah. So really cool. Esports. I'm excited to learn more about it tomorrow. And that's just one of many clubs that Templeton High School has. Mr. Mack talked about it previously, but they've got this incoming freshman night that happens once a year, and they have traditionally it would be in the gymnasium, and they have tables just kind of all wrapped all the way around that gym. And not only do they have all the elective classes and stuff, but a lot of the clubs are represented, and it's just an opportunity to see, what your incoming freshman could get involved with at the Templeton High School. So Another great example of just the awesome community that we live in. So speaking of Mr. Mac, it's 7:30 and he exists. We thought we lost you there. We thought you gave up on the morning buzz.
No, man, never. It's been a busy couple days. Sorry I blew you off on Monday and Tuesday, but we were excited to welcome back students on campus almost a year to the date since they left. So we were kind of in deep at 7:30 on Monday and Tuesday as we welcome back. I had a welcome back day, a red carpet welcome for our students. First half, our cohort A on Monday, and then on Tuesday. So it was awesome.
So what was it like? It was your first time also having in-person interaction, right, in a classroom setting.
Yeah, in a regular classroom setting. Yeah, I had pretty much the last few months had a pod of Link Crew students coming in, but in a normal, semi-normal setting. Yeah, it was great. It was great. A lot of energy on campus. And Mike, you just talked about that normal incoming freshman night. We had it last night.
That's right.
It was virtual though. Virtual had over 100 families, I think I would say, represented. Hard to tell, but we Zoomed it all, talked about clubs, talked about CI, talked about athletics, registering for classes, all that sort of stuff. This is for next year's freshmen, so getting them ready.
And is that something that you guys recorded?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be up on the school website sometime this morning. So
okay,
people
cool. So if you don't mind, I'll just share that link when it's live on the Morning Buzz page.
Where else do people go if they want to find things out about the community?
Totally, yeah. KSBY Morning Buzz. I mean, yeah,
it's kind of more like this now, I think. I mean,
perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, so walk me through how that went. You obviously, or the Josh Aston gave incoming freshman speech. You talked, and then they just went around and every elective teacher talked, or how does that?
Well, no. This year we did it a little bit differently. When we did it in the gym, people could go to whatever they were interested in, and so it flowed well that way. This time, what we did is we had pre-recorded links that people could go to that would explain a little bit about each of the elective classes. So they can watch them at their leisure, and those are already out there. Those are already located on the registration page, which you can access from the front of our School Loop page. Because to be honest, we got a lot of amazing things going on, and if you aren't paying attention, you might miss it. So that's why the counseling department set up this registration page where people can go and learn about CI. They can go and learn about athletics. They can go and learn about each of the elective options and see whether or not that's really something that they, might be interested in taking. And I know Mrs. Creighton is doing meetings with freshmen, or actually she is releasing a Google Classroom that has a whole bunch of stuff on it for incoming freshmen to learn about. Like this is really interesting. We have maybe 10 or 12 videos up there of questions that incoming freshmen often ask, like, should I really jump in and take some really hard classes right at the beginning, being a freshman? And then we have our Link Crew leaders answering them on video. So you can search through these questions that other people have asked, or there's a place for you to post a question, and then we'll have Link Crew leaders respond either to you in email if it seems more of a specific thing for you, but in video if it's something more widespread.
Yeah, it's something that more kids can benefit from the answer. That's cool. And that's just another project that those Link Crew kids can be a part of that kind of is adds value, right?
Yeah, next week we have our first Link Crew on-campus activity where we got a water balloon toss. Always one of our favorite events. Normally we'd do it during lunchtime. We'd have 180, 190 freshmen out there throwing water balloons. It's a catch. You have a partner, and then you keep moving back until there's only one team left this year. We don't have a lunch per se because people leave at lunchtime, but we're going to be doing it right, at the end of school for those who want to participate. So we're excited about that.
So can you confirm or deny the rumor that actually replacing the water in the balloons is going to be hand sanitizer this year?
I can neither confirm or deny that.
Okay. Just make sure you catch them with your hands, kids.
Hey, Mike, you can't imagine the last couple days have been really busy, but you talk about the eye of the storm, man, there is a storm, not a literal storm, but a storm of activities coming next week.
Yeah. What's on the horizon?
Can I run down them for you? Okay. So not only do we have the water balloon toss, okay, but here's just a myriad of things that are coming. Monday and Tuesday, we have Link Crew tryouts for next year. Thursday and Friday, we have ASB and class elections for next year's officers. Drama starts tomorrow night, right? So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then next week, here's the rundown of sports, okay? Boys soccer, they open against the Atascadero, of course. Home opener on Tuesday. They also play on Thursday. Girls soccer on the road Tuesday, and they play Thursday. Baseball opens up Wednesday, and they play Saturday. Cross country, they're running against St. Joe's, and that's their senior night. It's last meet of the year. Wednesday, they also run this Saturday. Girls tennis, undefeated girls tennis. They're playing today, but then they've got 2 matches next week against Mission, which I don't know. It's that one's going to be a tough one for us to remain undefeated. I'm not sure about girls volleyball. Softball opens up on Wednesday. Swim is at St. Joe's. Track is at A-Town. I don't know how Coach Farley is going to make all that work. And of course, you got football. We got football. We're scheduled for Rigetti next week. Of course, we open up this Friday. And I know you got Coach Crow coming. So he'll talk all about that. But man, you talk about we are cramming everything that we didn't have these past months into what seems like next week.
All right, let's do it. I think we're all on board as a community. That's exciting. Let's get these kids active in activities safely, obviously. But just, giving them some sense of normalcy. I love it. I forgot to mention, at the top of the show, I gave a rundown of who's going to be on. We are going to have Coach Farley in, the athletic director, at some point today. He's going to drop in this morning to clarify the rules of in-person attendance at all of these events. And so I know that there's been a few different versions of the story of what's going to happen and what's going to not happen at the football game specifically. But Coach Farley is going to kind of dispel any rumors and then give us the rundown. And he said that Templeton High School made an official release yesterday, I think on Facebook or on their website, but he did want to have a chance to clarify that as well.
And really, getting things out on Facebook is one thing, but getting it out on the Morning Buzz,
whole nother. Yeah.
I mean, telling you, that's it. Hey, and Mike, make sure that he talks about how people can watch it from home. Because you can listen on KPRL, but you can also watch it. We've got cameras set up. I'm sure he's going to talk about it, but don't let him get away without that.
Yeah, and I forget the website. I posted the website on the page, but I'll make sure that I have that link readily available as well, because it's more than just football that you can watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, the gym is set up for this system, as is the football field, and they are working on getting Vineyard set up too for softball and baseball, which would be great because we got amazing softball and baseball programs. Hey, Mike, can I just give a shout out to a couple people that really helped make our welcome back really a plus?
Yeah, go for it.
Man, there's a group of parents that just they went out of their way, led by your wife and some others that really, I mean, if you haven't seen on our Facebook page some of the pictures of the things they did for our seniors, green hearts with every senior's name on it. They made a whole bulletin board with all of our senior pictures of all of our our seniors this year. Some amazing wings. I mean, you can tell some of those ladies, they know their arts and crafts, man. I mean, they nailed it. And then, of course, we had the flags downtown, our new flags that are flying in honor of opening of the secondary, the middle school and the high school. A bunch of the parents threw in to buy lunch for all the teachers on opening day from Full Belly Deli.
Yeah, what'd you have?
Oh man, I had a turkey sandwich with salad, like a macaroni salad. It was awesome. Cookie. You get to my heart with cookies. I'm telling you, they had great cookie packed in there.
So Heidi, the owner of Full Belly Deli, her and I went to school since kindergarten together. She's amazing. That place is like, it's a little bit of a drive coming from Templeton, right? But it's well worth it. I think we need to lobby to have her open a sandwich shop in Templeton.
Well, she may need to now that she's been, recognized on the Morning Buzz. She may need to hire some more staff.
Oh yeah, it's scaling up just like that.
Absolutely.
All right. So you guys got the lunches, the whole staff, everybody got lunch. They had a nice welcome back bulletin board, the kids.
Oh, man. It's beautiful.
I saw red carpet. I saw balloons.
Yep. We had music out there. We had FFA officers. We try to get kind of our major groups on campus out there to welcome people back. So, of course, you got Link Crew, you got ASB, you got FFA. We tried to get our drama department out there in costume. Just was too much with them doing rehearsals and all that sort of stuff. But, we love our drama department. Young Frankenstein opens tomorrow. And you can buy the tickets online. We've got a link to it on our School Loop page. And I know you had Miles, right? You had Miles.
Yeah, and I've got another call into them as of last night to see if we can get them on tomorrow morning as well, to just kind of give us the last minute, need to knows and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, and I happened to catch them doing a little dress rehearsal last night. Pretty awesome.
And I heard there's a cameo in there by Mr. Aston.
I did not see the cameo, but I have heard that told. And I think there's somebody else too, but I'm not sure who.
Yeah, who was it? They did say somebody else. I can't remember. Oh.
Yeah, that's always a highlight, seeing, one of those non-actor, not that Mr. Aston's not going to knock it down, but seeing one of those unexpected people walk out on stage in costume or doing a dance or something. You're not doing it, are you?
No, is it Coach Crow doing a dance? No.
I'm thinking not.
I don't think he breathes during football season. He doesn't do anything except for football during football season.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, I don't know if you knew this as well, but I think this could be something that you could maybe take on as well. Yeah. The Paso Robles Daily News started doing a Athlete of the Week for each of the schools. But I think maybe the Morning Buzz ought to have a shout out to an athlete, and we maybe get that athlete on the show with you.
Interesting. And I think we have to. Well, this will be up for debate. But what do you think about including esports? Oh,
absolutely. I heard you got Jack coming on.
Yeah, Jack's coming on tomorrow. I think it's going to be awesome.
Jack is a great guy, and he has really done a lot. He's going to downplay all he's done, I'm sure, but he's done a lot to really get esports rolling. CIF was even they're making it a sport, a CIF sport. And we talked to Jack. Coach Farley and I sat down with him and talked with him about whether or not he wanted to have that as a sport. I mean, we're talking about having a coach and all those type of things. And he wasn't ready for that because he didn't want to scare people off. He wanted to kind of get it going first. And he's bringing up, I can't remember who it is, but he's got some underclassmen that he is kind of training because Jack's a senior.
Wow.
And he wants to pass it on to somebody else so it doesn't become one of those things that's just like, this is Jack's deal. But like you said, boy, it is widespread. and there are people making a good amount of money on that whole deal.
No, it's the generation of high schoolers, and then the 20 somethings, and now even 30 somethings are involved in it. And it's like any major professional sport, it's a big business, right? And there's real big investment money happening in that space. And yeah, I think it's cool that we have all of these different alternatives for kids to explore as they go out in the world, right? Because let's be honest, if I've learned anything in 43 years, is there's no like blueprint for what I'm supposed to do in life.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, here's some of the other clubs, because I know you mentioned how we have some clubs. We've got here's just some of them. We got a mock trial club, Dungeons and Dragons, Checkmates, where they play chess.
Oh yeah.
Friday Night Live, which is an anti-drug, anti-alcohol club that's run in coordination with the county. Photography club. We got a kindness club that they're actually coming on campus and setting up a really cool bulletin board. I'll have to send you a picture of it.
Yeah, the kindness club kicked me out. No, I'm just kidding.
We got a computer science club. We've got a National Art Society club, esports you mentioned, drama, Fellowship of Christian Students, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We've got Interact Club, which is in connection with Rotary and community service.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Environmental Club. We've got one that's really interesting. I don't know if you've heard of this one, Mike. Society of Women Engineers. And
cool.
Dio runs it. And every year, and I don't know about this year because this year's kind of weird, but every year, this is the coolest project. They build a solar suitcase, they call it.
Uh-huh.
And they send it to a third world country, and it powers a library in a village, or it powers a whole village. And the kids, the girls in this club, they build this. It's a project that comes or whatever, and they have to put it all together accurately, and then they send it to this their connection in this other country, and they use it to power. I mean, you talk about kids real world learning,
right,
hands-on stuff. It's pretty phenomenal, the difference they're making in some community that they'll never even be to.
And another example of the awesomeness that is Templeton Unified School District, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. Well, Mr. Mack, guess what? It's time for our history lesson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and I've got to get ready for a class. So we start class now at 8 instead of 9. So I'm going to leave it to Mr. Lewis and you, because I know Mr. Lewis has already got his class dialed in and ready to go for today.
Yeah, right.
Okay, thanks, Mike. I'll see you tomorrow.
Awesome. Thanks. See ya. Oh, Mr. Lewis, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Good.
Yeah. So I've been pumping up this Andrew Jackson story for the better.
That's funny. I didn't prep that one, but I'll give you that one.
No. Don't give me that one. You do what you were gonna do.
Oh, how funny. No, I can talk about that one. I didn't have my notes, so if I miss some of the names on Andrew Jackson, and I'll come back to the other thing. I was gonna do World War I, but Andrew Jackson is in the timeline is actually first. So Andrew Jackson. Now I gotta Google. I think he was like
7.
The 7th president.
Yep.
And he was obviously a very controversial character. He fought in many duels in his life. He made his living. He not only had slaves, which was, pretty common with, I think the first up till like 1850, I think half the presidents had slaves, but he also was involved in the slave trade. But the point is I wanted to make about him was, I need to look at his birth date so I can. So to be president, under the Constitution, you're supposed to be born in the continental United States or in a territory. And they list his birth as 1767. But there's this story about oh my gosh, I'm drawing brain farts on the guy's name.
I threw you off.
And a guy named Simon Kenton, who was a contemporary Daniel Boone, and he was pretty much as big a deal as Daniel Boone. I think there's a Kenton County in Kentucky named after him now. One point, they were in a fight together, him and Daniel Boone, and Daniel Boone broke his leg, and Samuel Kenton threw him on his back and like ran miles from Indians with him. And Simon Kenton was a huge man. Simon, I said Samuel. He was a huge man, like 6'5", when people were a lot smaller in those days. He was captured by Indians at one point and had to run the gauntlet, was supposed to be killed, and he managed to survive. He actually also at one point went by Simon Butler, because when he was like 19 or 20 years old, the girl he liked got married to somebody else, and he was so mad that he went to the wedding and beat the crap out of the groom, and he thought he killed him, and he ran away and changed his name, and then like years and years later he realized the guy survived, and so he changed his name back to Simon Kenton. But the story goes that in 1777, which would make, under what Andrew Jackson says, what most people say that he was born, would make Andrew Jackson 10 years old, was that he was drunk in a bar and he started mouthing off to Simon Kenton, and Simon literally beat the crap out of him in the bar. And there was all sorts of witnesses, and there's been all sorts of people at the time that verified it. And
so he was 10.
Is that Andrew Jackson was actually born on a ship when his parents were coming from the United Kingdom, and that he had lied about when he was born so that he could be president. So, that's basically the story.
So he was 10 years old.
No, he was 20. Everybody thinks he was 20, and that he was actually born in like 1750, like somewhere between 1757 and 1757 and 1760.
Oh, I got it. So
yeah, but that he lied later in life about his age so that he could run for the presidency.
Got it. So he basically said he was 10 years younger to put him in the U.S.
But things are always so dicey from those days, and
sure,
it's probably not that hard. It's hard to prove anything back in those days.
Yeah, interesting.
But Andrew Jackson, interesting guy. He's the only president to pay off the national debt. Which is, you think that sounds like a good thing, but it actually wasn't. He literally like almost eliminated credit and made like any land had to be purchased with silver or gold.
Wow.
So it crushed the real estate market and actually put us into one of the worst depressions in history.
Oh, geez.
He signed the Indian Removal Act that basically, started the Trail of Tears that moved all the Indians from the Southeast, from Florida and Georgia to Oklahoma, where, thousands upon thousands died. And some, it's even called a genocide by a lot of people nowadays. So he was a very controversial figure.
Wow. That's crazy. And so he was president. He was the 7th president. I don't remember the years.
Yeah, I actually am looking at it now. He was president from 1829 to 1837.
Okay. Huh. And so you're saying that most U.S. presidents up until about 1850 owned slaves?
I think it was about half, actually.
And did they own slaves while they were in the White House?
Yes. Washington and Jefferson absolutely did, for sure.
Yeah.
And I believe Andrew Jackson did too, since he died in 1845, and it would be another 20 years before we freed the slaves. So
sure. Interesting. Wow. Well, that's interesting to talk about. I since you brought up Andrew Jackson on the first show, I was like now fixated on the story of the fact that he might not have been born in the U.S. That's of course I watched The Patriot over the weekend, which I don't know if it's a true story or not, but it was an interesting watch anyways. Are there any St. Patrick's Day little tidbits that you can leave us with? I know it's not U.S.
Yeah, that's not in my genre. Other than he supposedly removed all the snakes from Ireland.
Right. Well, I think the only thing really major with St. Patrick's Day wasn't there a big St. Patrick's Day massacre in Chicago at some point in the 20s during Prohibition?
Or is that Valentine's Day?
Oh no, that's right. I mixed it up.
Yeah,
All right.
that was Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
No,
St.
someday
Valentine's
I'll have to tell
Day.
you another story. My grandfather was raised in Indiana, but drove a truck during Prohibition between Chicago. It was a Teamster who drove truck between Canada and
Wow.
and Chicago during the Prohibition era, and it's real interesting because of the stuff he told me.
Yeah. So was he smuggling?
Yeah, legally smuggling, like not legally, but like you said, he was a legitimate trucker who worked for a legitimate company, but he was getting liquor in Canada and bringing it back. And he said they knew that there was the two gangs. There was the Al Capone gang and the Purple gang in Chicago. And he said because he was working for a legitimate company, he didn't know who he was actually working for because his company was legit.
Right.
But the pictures of him as a young man, they drove these like Model A trucks and two guys, both armed. The guy riding shotgun literally had a shotgun, and the guy on, my grandpa had a shotgun and a gun strapped to his hip. He said he was lucky he never got hijacked, but their loads were getting hijacked all the time.
That's so crazy. Insane. What a different time and different world, huh?
Yeah, my grandfather was born in 1904, so he had some crazy stories.
Oh, I'll bet. Well, that's awesome. Mr. Lewis, thanks for coming on today.
No problem. Yeah. And I will talk to you next week.
And you survived the first 2 days?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I think the hard part was for the kids at home. I kept forgetting about them.
Oh,
I was so excited to have kids in class.
Well, the kids at home probably love that.
Yeah, so, no, yeah. I literally forgot about the Zoom kids. And I've talked to a lot of teachers who it's like you have to remember you still have Zoom kids there.
Sure.
Because after a year, it was just so great to have kids in class. So
right. Well, cool. I'm sure they were all excited to be there with you. So thanks for what you do on a daily basis. All right. We'll see you later.
Mike. Thanks a lot.
Bye. See ya. All right. That's Eric Lewis, U.S. history teacher for Templeton High School, government and econ as well. Doing Wednesday morning history check-in with us. All right. We got Anthony Reed back in the house. He is going to give us some updated news and headlines. I don't know if you heard what he said, Anthony, but he basically said that Andrew Jackson may not have been born in the U.S., which would have meant that he would not have been qualified to be a president. So, that's wild to think about.
That's interesting. Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. The debate was he lied in life about how old he was, so he would be qualified. Crazy. So what's going on in the news?
That's all the presidential stuff. So I put in the chat for you. I don't know if you can see it. I put in the chat just before I left last hour the link to the 30-minute conversation with KSBY's Megan Healy. That was Paul Flores's mother, Susan Flores. Okay. She had an interview with KSBY yesterday. And KSBY, they just put a little snippet of it on their 5 and 6 o'clock newscast yesterday, and so I went and tracked it down and found the link and put it up for you in the chat. So those of you that want to watch that, they can go ahead and watch that. So from the fire yesterday that we talked about, that happened in the 3200 block of Oak Knolls Road, which is off of Highway 46 West, near the Target Shopping Center. Actually, it's a little south of the Target Shopping Center. Okay. And so it was a chimney fire. They, for some reason, had a fire in the chimney. And it was in the 3200 block of Oak Knolls Road. And there were no reported injuries and no reportable damage to the structure. If I can just talk about this real quick.
Go for it.
There has been a weird rise of chimney fires. I know that it's cold, and in the mornings, obviously, it gets below 35 degrees in the mornings on most mornings. We're kind of in this weird like winter thing going on. It's almost springtime.
Yeah.
So I just want to warn people, just if you have a fire in your chimney, it's all good to have it there, but just know how to extinguish it properly. Because there was, I think on late Sunday night, there was also another reported chimney fire in Pastor Robles as well, obviously with no injuries or any damage to any structures. So
yeah, I mean, we have a fireplace, and it's something that you don't often think about, but actually going through and maintaining that chimney and maintaining the airflow and cleaning out the fireplace, and then properly extinguishing and removing the ash.
Yeah. So just looking at the CHP website, just no reportable action to report at this hour. They're just doing some maintenance on the freeways between Templeton and Santa Maria. So other than that, it's looking pretty clear this morning so far.
Awesome. Well, that's good stuff. Then we'll check in with you in about an hour. I appreciate the update.
Yep, right on. I'll be here.
All right. Thanks, Anthony.
All right.
All right. That's Anthony Reed, Pastor Robles Incidents and Actions, who is giving us those updates. And I did get a note. Let's see here. Where is this? I did get a note that Coach Crow is trying to get on with us and can't figure out, or the school has got his Wi-Fi locked up so that he can't access the stream. So let's give him a few more minutes to see if he can get on. I know everybody's been waiting all week for Coach Crow's update, so I know I have, but when he finally gets on, I'm sure we'll all be super happy about that. So I did get a chance to be at the school yesterday. Went down to the football field, the snack bar. We were doing some cleaning and some organizing of that snack bar area, and then also I noticed that the football field had not been lined yet, but they were in the process of cutting that grass, and so it's looking really good. It's looking super fresh and clean, and it's going to be ready for Friday, so that's exciting. That game is going to be 7 o'clock, I believe, and it's going to be live streamed. Let me look and see if I could find that live stream link right now. Coach Farley's also going to join us at some point today because he's going to talk about the rules for being able to be at the games, right? Who, in fact, will be allowed at the games versus not allowed at the games, what the attendance policy is going to look like, what we can expect as far as in-person attendance. And so where did I post that link? I'm just going through and checking. It would have been Monday. I think I found it. Hold on. Stand by. Monday was the 15th. And there, okay. I'm going to just pop up this link here while I can. So there it is right there. All right, let me share my screen. Okay, so the link to watch these live stream football games is you're looking at the screen right there, but I'm going to post this link back in the chat so everybody can see it. All right, so that's the link. Save that link. It's in the chat. But that's going to allow you to watch Templeton High School's football games and then other sports as well. They were talking about soccer. They're getting some cameras over to the baseball and softball fields to do those as well. And I think some of the stuff inside the gym as well. So this is the site. I think you just got to subscribe to it. don't know if it costs money. Well, let's push subscribe and see what happens. Okay. So the monthly pass, annual pass, we'll have to see if that's in fact something that we have to pay for or not. We'll clarify that. But I mean, for $10.99, you're paying $30 for the next 3 months to watch all of the Templeton sports that you can that are being live streamed. So that's I think that's a good deal. If it is $11 a month, that's not bad. So all right, where is Coach Crow? Says he's been trying to get on for 10 minutes. Okay. Well, I don't know why he's not able to access that link. So Stacy says $69.99 for the year, or about $11 a month. Yeah. Okay. So that's not bad. And they've installed these cameras here at the school or over at the school. And so I would think that not only are they going to live stream this year's programs and this year's activities, but probably next year as well. But again, that's another question that we'll have to ask Mr. Farley when he's able to join us. So, all right, let's see here. Yeah, Coach Crow is just having a difficult time connecting. Oh, the annual pass does give some back to the school. Okay, so if you buy the annual pass for $69.99, they actually give some of that money to the school, which is another awesome thing for us to be able to raise additional funds for the school programs and sports. So that's exciting. Stacy, you are a wealth of knowledge. We appreciate you doing that. And by the way, Stacy, all things football program, Jeffers is the one that is the person behind the success of everything that happens off the field with that football program. So, Stacy, thank you so much for everything that you do. What I might have you do, Stacy, is figure out how we can get Coach Crow on every Wednesday at 8, because it seems like he's got an issue with. I don't know if it's where he's trying to connect from over at the middle school that's kind of firewalling him or whatnot. But it's kind of a bummer if we can't get him on this morning, because here we are. We're getting ready to kick off the first football game in over 12 months, and I know that the community at whole wants to hear from him, wants to get a gauge as to how our football team looks, what we can expect on Friday. And just, overall lend him our support and make sure that he knows that the community is behind him. So hopefully he's able to join us. And if not, we'll catch up with him at some point this week. If I have to go and do an in-person interview with him, I will, and then we can air it tomorrow or the next day. So maybe we'll have to do that instead. But Coach Crow, if you're listening, if you're on, keep trying. Because I know that the community wants to hear from you. We've also got the district update coming up at 8:15. Hopefully those guys can get on. It's going to be either Aaron Asplund, the superintendent, or the assistant superintendent, Andy Burnett, or both of them. So, okay. Coach says he can call you and just do an audio. I don't know how that's going to sound, but we can try that. Let me see here. Let's see if it's worth it. Yeah, I've never done an audio call. It's going to be really, my studio here is not set up for it, but let's see if this works here. Coach, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Even Farley said the same thing, that he has to do it by his phone, but my phone says that it won't connect with you because my camera doesn't have access to your whatever. So,
okay, let me just make sure your audio is coming through. Stand by for 2 seconds here.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
here.
It's working.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, we'll have to get it figured out. I'll put that on my to-do list because I do want to get you set up so that we've got, everything going.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to other tech people today. So
okay, great. So I was over at the field yesterday. I saw they're cutting the grass. Field looks great. Have the players been on it yet?
no, they weren't able to finish cutting the grass, so we won't be on it till tomorrow because it was too wet from the rain.
Okay.
They only did around the sidelines like 2 passes, and the tractor was sinking. So.
Oh wow. Okay, so how's the team looking? What's the status? Everybody's healthy for the most part?
Yes. Yeah, we're ready to go. Yeah. Our guys are ready to play. We're ready to go. We're healthy, ready to go. We have just waiting on Wasco today because they got COVID tested Monday. So we'll wait to hear from them today. So.
Okay, and you guys got COVID tested already?
No, we do not, because our county does not have to be COVID tested because we're in the red tier.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So as long as we stay below that 7.0 per 100,000 adjusted number, we're allowed to not have to be tested.
Okay. But our county and our district is allowing outside counties and districts to come in different tiers?
Yes, as long as they're tested. Yes.
Got
that's the CIF. That came from the state. Yep.
Okay. Cool. And Coach Farley was going to talk about kind of the attendance policy. I know that there was some back and forth. Is there anything that you can speak to on that?
Yeah, originally last Thursday, the county told us no fans whatsoever. Then on Friday, they changed course, and we are each player is allowed 4 family members to come to the game.
Okay, so family members only.
Yes.
Okay, and those family members have to live in the house, or can it be grandma and grandpa?
Right now, I think it's grandma and grandpa too. I was told just 4 family members. So.
Okay. And so, like in my case, my wife's there volunteering. I'm there volunteering. My daughter's there volunteering. So Noel doesn't get to take 4 other people, right?
Not at this time. It might change for the next game.
Got it. Okay. If it does change, I should have him sell his tickets. I'm just kidding.
There'll be worse than money if we start winning.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So, what are your thoughts on Friday's competition?
I feel really good about where we're at as a team. We know a little bit about Wasco. We've looked at some things they've done in the past. They're very much a run, even more than we are, a run-oriented team. If they throw the ball 4 or 5 times a game, that's a lot for them. I think they only completed 30 passes last year on the whole season on 12 games. But they're going to take the ball and slow the game way down. Offensively, they're getting 2 tight ends and really compress the field and try to run right at you. And try to they're going to try to play keep away from our offense. That's their style. That's their normal style too. That's what they do all the time. It's not something just for us.
Got it. And your rush defense is ready?
I think so. We got our best part of our defense right now is our front 7, the defensive line and linebackers, because that's where our most experience is. So I feel like that's, we'll find out how good we really are at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. I was able to go out and watch the scrimmage on Friday. How did you feel coming out of that?
At times we looked really good, but the hard part with an inter-squad scrimmage with a team our size is that we can never have our best on best because we have to have kids that play both ways.
Yep.
And so that's kind of so we really didn't get a great look, but a few plays we did have our true starters on offense, but against some backups on defense, and then vice versa. So when we had our best guys out there, it looked pretty good. There's always things to work on. It was good to get some live, full speed reps before we go into a game. And we feel good about our kids.
That's great. And so the pregame tradition of the meal, is that happening this year?
Yes.
And is it at McPhee's?
Yes. He's got it set up for us.
That's fantastic. That's good news. Is there anything we can do as a community to support you guys? And obviously, aside from live streaming the game, showing our flags around town, what are some things we can do to root the kids on?
just support the kids, you know, and know that we haven't played in 16 months, so it might look a little raggedy at first because nobody's been playing, and it's hard to, you know, basically they've missed a season and now we're trying to pick it back up. So no, I don't think anybody's going to be at midseason form, obviously, right now. Plus, you know, it is our first game, so we might look a little raggedy at first, but I think our kids will pick it up and be good, and just be supportive of the kids, you know.
Absolutely.
Whatever happens out there, you know, they're out there and they fought through every adversity that more than anybody could imagine to get to play Friday night.
Well, we certainly appreciate you being such an advocate for them. I know that every single kid on that field and all the parents and the community at whole, I mean, we are all just very appreciative of you sticking your neck out there, being their advocate. And, you know, I know it's selfish because you like to win, but I think a large part of it is that you really do care for those kids. So,
yeah. Because well, first of all, everybody should realize that none of those guys out there coaching are doing it for the money. Some of them are losing money because they're taking off time from work to be there.
Yeah.
Or they're actually taking money out of their pocket to come be with those young men. And we all do it because of the kids, and we love the game and we love the kids, or there'll be no way we'd be out there.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. And, you know, we're going to be rooting for you guys on Friday. I'll be there running that camera with you. And so hopefully I don't screw up my debut as being part of the volunteer staff, but
awesome.
We really appreciate you.
I just want to give everybody a heads up to pay attention. Early next week, we might have, I don't know if everybody knows, but our game next Friday has been moved to April 30th. Rigetti had positive COVID tests yesterday, so their game this week and next week have been postponed. Where they've been moved. That's why we had open dates at the end of the year, the end of the season, to pick up that situation. And so we're working on trying to find a replacement game next week. So we'll know either by Friday or early next week if we have a game next week.
And was next week supposed to be home or on the road?
Yes, it was supposed to be home too.
Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on that, and obviously I'll be bugging you for an update, and Joe as well. So
yes, as soon as we know, we'll get it out.
All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate you being adaptive and getting on the phone.
Yep, I appreciate it. Sorry, people. I'm writing the email right now to our tech people, see if I can be able to have access.
All right. Well, hey, good luck to you and the boys on Friday. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. We'll see you on Friday, Mike.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
All right. That was a first on the Morning Buzz. We did a audio interview on the phone, and obviously I'm not super set up to be able to do that, but hopefully the audio was okay. Hey, it's time for our district update. So just to recap, Coach Crow said that there was a positive COVID test at Rigetti. And so that game is now being pushed back to April 30th. And we'll update you as we find out more stuff here about what next week might look like. Right now, we're joined by Andy Burnett and Aaron Asplund over at the district office. How are you guys?
Morning. We're great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
You guys you're still alive. That's good. That's a good first sign.
A day at a time, right?
Yeah. So were you guys able to be at the high school on Monday and Tuesday?
Yeah, both the high school and the middle school, to see the reopening, see kids come streaming back. Boy, it sure was great. Sure felt great.
That's awesome. Yeah. Mr. Burnett, did it bring back some memories for you being on that middle school campus?
It sure did. Yeah, I was at the middle school on Monday, and it was nice to see a lot of familiar faces, both students and staff. So really exciting moment.
I couldn't hardly talk him back across the street to get back to his work. He wanted to stay there and relive the good old days.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Well, so yeah, how's it been so far? What's going on with you guys?
Gosh, definitely all of our attention and focus is on supporting our two schools reopening, and it seems like things have gone off without a hitch by and large. I mean, there's little any undertaking that big, but by and large things are really smooth and positive. And so, simultaneous to that, we're on the district level still kind of in next year planning mode. This is kind of we're in the thick of it for the next several weeks, and so all of those kind of behind the scenes things that people don't always think about, or kind of at our level is what we're spending our days thinking about, just kind of prime the pump for an effective year next year.
Yeah, I had Christine Ames on, I think it was yesterday, and we were talking through the homeschool program, and she had mentioned that you guys as a district basically had to scale up that program over the last 12 months to be able to accommodate all of the different scenarios. And I think she said they went from a staff of 2 to 10 or something like that.
Yeah,
that's correct.
And on the student side, we were on the order of maybe 100 was a significant increase.
Wow. And so from a leadership perspective, what did that entail for you guys to kind of plan and implement change? And what did that look like?
Yeah. I'll give this one to Andy because it was his baby.
I'll take that on for sure. So, in the early going, it was quite a drastic move because as you mentioned already, Mike, we had to scale up our staff. And fortunately for us, we had so many of our teachers that were willing to make that jump from the brick and mortar, if you will, over to homeschool. And what I mean by that is we had a number of teachers move from Templeton Elementary School and Vineyard Elementary School and Templeton Middle School over to the homeschool program in order to accommodate the increased demand for homeschool from our students and their families. So, one of the key elements of our planning was leveraging the knowledge and experience of those homeschool teachers that are veteran, and that being Lisa Delgadillo and Danya Callahan. They both are homeschool teachers in a traditional year, and so they were really, really instrumental in helping those teachers in the onboarding process. And then the other thing that worked out quite nicely is we were able to devote each one of those teachers to a specific grade level. So, we have one homeschool teacher who is teaching all of our kindergarten students, and then, another that's teaching the first grade level. So quite a lot went into that. And I have to be honest, I mean, it was like in the first month or two of my time as the assistant superintendent, there were a lot of nervous moments where I was looking at Aaron going, boy, I'm doing everything I can to pull this off. And fortunately we were able to.
So what was the biggest challenge with the whole process?
I think there were two challenges there, and that was, making sure that we were identifying, enough staff to come over and serve our students, and doing so in a manner that we weren't just moving staff without proper communication, because everyone knows, that can be a rough start to the school year. So again, I mentioned the willingness of our staff to move on over. We were able to do that with teachers voluntarily moving into those new roles. So that was really important. And then, the second part, really, I would say is just making sure that our families understood what homeschool entailed. And in a traditional year, homeschool is structured in a manner where the parents serve as teachers, and and the homeschool teacher is there to support the parents. So I've mentioned our teachers and how they stepped up, but gosh, our families have really stepped up as well, and been great in the homeschool program. So I can't say enough good things about everything that's happening there.
That's great. Yeah, my kids, unfortunately, having an educator in the house, they get both worlds, right? The homeschool and the real school, or the traditional school. So kind of a bummer. Math never stops in the Brady house. It's just nonstop. Well, okay, so you guys are focused on next year's planning. But in the meantime, the show goes on with what's happening day to day in terms of getting these kids through the rest of this year as well. And from an activities standpoint, whether it be athletic or other types of activities, we've got a fully packed schedule over the next 3 months. And so from your standpoint, what are some of the things that you guys are doing to just make sure that obviously everyone's prepared to just kind of be nimble and make changes as needed, and also just have the support that they need?
Yeah, that's a great question, because we certainly don't have the luxury of thinking exclusively about next year, that, like you said, spring, and we're really glad for that. On our level, it takes the form of, like, gosh, on the sports front, for example, the regulations, the guidance is just kind of streaming down steadily, and there's regular revisions, and we work really hard to process it and understand it and get it in the hands of our athletic director, our administrators, our coaches, so that they can do their work. So we're trying to clear the uncertainty and clear any confusion that arises with all the twists and turns around kind of the lay of the land for these various activities. And a lot of time keeping up on the guidance, trying to stay kind of on the bleeding edge of it, so that we're not chasing things, and falling behind. But a great example of that would be kind of the testing protocol in athletes. That has sort of evolved steadily and changed a few times. And so finding the places we can do that so that we can actually have kids compete, finding the ways we do that, bringing resources to bear. So those are definitely, again, the kind of behind the scenes logistical and kind of regulatory things that we spend a lot of time trying to really, because the last thing we want to do is have that drag on kids' opportunities to participate in these activities. So that's kind of what our world looks like as it relates to, activities and sports and what have you.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Now, we talked last week. I left you with a question about obviously the funding that has come down as help for school districts. Is there anything that you can speak to in regards to that? Yeah,
absolutely. And that's absolutely a positive to be celebrated. So I guess the shortest description, you're talking about AB 86. That's recently passed state legislation, kind of a long time coming. And it hails back to the beginning of COVID. The economy kind of got clamped down, pretty mightily at the beginning of COVID. And as a result, the state was forecasting that the economy was taking a serious nosedive. And by extension, the state's revenues were going to really, really suffer. And we get most of our funding from the state. So by extension, we were looking at some pretty big budget cuts. So fast forward, probably 3 or 4 months, and the state looked around and said, my gosh, our recovery from the beginning of the kind of COVID shutdown was, as a state, the state of California, was pretty rapid, and our economy didn't really suffer as much as originally thought. And so as the state regrouped and realized that it had, significantly more revenue than it had forecasted through the COVID pandemic period, they finally legislated a pretty significant chunk of that to help schools kind of navigate reopening specifically. And then probably more importantly, a big chunk of money to help students when we do come back, we are coming back to school with the deficits that have occurred. I mean, if we stop for a minute and appreciate what home life has been like for any given student over the last year, just navigating the day-to-day, let alone learning effectively, we've got some work to do to support our students catching up. And we're not only talking academically, we're talking, mental health and social emotional learning and wellness, and just quite frankly, food security, all those sorts of things. So within the state's funding that you alluded to, we will in fact be getting kind of north of $2 million from the state, all to be used kind of between now and the end of next year to catch us up. So what does that look like? It looks like summer school. It looks like tutorial programs before and after school. It looks like extra interventions and supports during the school day. So kind of what you might call expanded learning opportunities. Yeah. And then again, filling in any gaps on mental health supports and kind of the gamut of student needs. And so really great, to appreciate what $2 million means for a district like Templeton. That's approaching about 10% of our annual expenditures in general. And so a pretty big shot in the arm, but a lot of work to do on that front next year. And so we're grateful for the funding. We're grateful to take off the table what would otherwise be a major concern anytime we've got all kinds of challenges ahead of us, but now we don't have a financial puzzle to solve, at least in the short term. I will comment really quickly, lest it sound like I'm raining on the parade just a little bit. I was trying to think of an analogy, and since you just finished talking football with Don, it's as though the state said, hey, we're going to come in and buy, we got football right around the corner. We're going to come in and buy new helmets for your varsity team. And we're like, fantastic. And then we say to the state, well, hey, by the way, we were about 5 to 10 short for our JV team. What do you say if we pay for all our helmets and have a little left over? Would you mind if we shored up our JV team? And the why I use that analogy is Templeton's budget at, just generally speaking, before COVID was a little constrained, and we had some internal issues that the board is working through. And so it has yet to be determined if we can use the funds simultaneous to, doing new things and additive things, but also kind of keep stability with, our general, and creatively kind of solve both problems. Some of the most intensive needs for next year.
Okay. Well, yeah, keep us posted on how that is rolling out and looking. It's obviously any time that you're going to get an extra $2 million that you weren't planning on, it could only help. So that's good news. Hey, as we wrap up here, I've got Lindsay Franklin who's going to jump in here at the 7 or 8:30 hour. And but I wanted to leave you guys just real quick. Is there any late breaking developments, any news that you want to share from a district level to the community in terms of anything going on? Unless Andy has something significant, I'm just feeling like the work's happening steadily and in a really good way out on the, boots on the ground. Things are just going exactly how we were hoping they'd go. Now, in closing, know that, we're watching every day and seeing how the rollout of our return to school is going, and we'll make adjustments, but all things considered, we feel really encouraged about how things are going. Awesome.
Yeah, and Mike, I would just add, maybe at a future sitting, I can address state testing and all that is going on with that, because while I know for many it's not exciting, it's important that the word begins to travel in our community and people understand what is going on at the state level with end of year testing. So yeah, there are always new things emerging on that front. So I'd like to spend a little bit of time in the future on that.
Please do it, and the floor is yours anytime that you want. Yeah, we've had some good response, and our viewership is at the end of every day. We've got over 1,000 impressions of the show happening on Facebook alone, and so the information that you guys share with us lives on our Facebook page for anybody to recall at any time. So any important information like that absolutely needs to be brought out into the public as much as possible. So please, Andy, anytime you want to come on, just let me know and we can deep dive that.
Okay, great.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys. You guys have a good rest of your week.
Thanks, Mike.
Absolutely. And so please say hi to Lindsay for us. We have it, but she's sure a favorite of ours.
I will. Absolutely. All right. Thank you.
All right.
See ya.
Thank you.
All right. That is Superintendent Aaron Asplund and Assistant Superintendent Andy Burnett joining us. Lindsay, you're in the house. How are you? Can you hear me? Do you have audio?
Oh, I can't hear
Uh-oh.
you now.
Oh, I hear you now, kind of. Oh, we just lost her. Testing 1, 2, 3. I think it's either my signal or her signal. Let's see here. I'm going to type in her name. Let's see here. Lindsay, try reconnecting if I've lost you. I have a blank signal where you're supposed to be. Let's see here. Is that better? can you hear me? She's saying no. Microphone check on my end, on your end. Oh, she's going to try to reconnect. So Lindsay Franklin, Templeton High School Eagle, and former athletic director for the high school, moved on at the end of 18 or 19 school year. And let's try her again. Hello, hello. Oh, this is going to be a bummer if we can't get her. Oh, we lost her again. She moved on. She went to work for the Special Olympics in Southern California for the Central Coast region, and so she's the program manager program manager for sports and other programs for the Special Olympics at the SoCal region for Central Coast, and so. Hopefully we can get her reconnected at some point. She'll try again, I'm sure, and then we'll go from there. But all right, so the biggest takeaways for me in the first 2 weeks of doing this show has been connectivity issues with guests, obviously, but also the fact that you guys are finding value in the information that we're sharing. So that's fun and exciting for me to learn. If there are stories, if there are those of you who want to come on the show to talk, contribute, anything you want to do on your end, please, by all means, all you have to do is email morningbuzzaroundtown@gmail.com, and I will get that information and we'll go from there. But I do know that there's been a few people that have reached out to me already, and one of those people has been Jeff over at the Historical Society for the Templeton Historical Society. Thank you. I lost track of what I was saying. But Jeff is going to come on the show next week, next Friday. So that'll be fun. And he and Greg O'Sullivan, who's the director over there, they're going to be sharing what's going on with the Templeton Historical Society. It sounds like we may have Lindsay back. I'll see if we can get her on. And are you there?
I think I'm here now. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you. Yay.
Is it really this time if there's really like, is it really this time if you're not having technical problems? Like, is it 2021? If you're just, I mean, that's like the name of the game, right?
It's par for the course. Exactly. For sure. Yeah. It's a mess. What's your official title? I want to put your little name up on the screen.
Yeah, I am with Special Olympics Southern California. I'm the manager of sports and programs for Special Olympics, and I'm in charge of the SLO County region.
So are you working out of home?
I am. I've been working out of home pretty much since this whole thing started. No one can be in person, so it's like such a bummer. But yeah, I work from home.
Yeah, so let's walk through real quick. Your last day or month at Templeton was in June of 18 or 19?
No, right when the shutdown happened. So right when I think that my last district event was the board meeting where they decided that everything was going to be shut down. And someone retired in the Special Olympics office in SLO County because our headquarters is in Long Beach and I don't want to move to Long Beach. So
sure.
Here locally, there was an opening and I was able to jump on it. So yeah, it was, I'm the middle of March last year.
Okay. So then you jumped right into a new role and immediately it just didn't look anything like any normalcy.
Oh, no. And the hardest thing too is sometimes trying to have those conversations with athletes. And then I don't, I know a lot of them just from different things, but to try to have those conversations of like, no, we're shut down. Like, no, you can't, we're nothing in person, because spring, just like in the high schools, is the busiest in Special Olympics too. So it was hard to have some of those conversations, but no, amongst the chaos, we just stopped.
Yeah. And so have you met in person any of your coworkers at this point?
I have met one.
Wow.
Jody Waddy, who's she's our head of development for SLO County, and she kind of leads our office. And I volunteered with Special Olympics a ton before, so very familiar with all those folks when things were normal. But yeah, that's it. Everything else, like especially down in Long Beach, our whole footprint, I've met no one. So I have no idea how tall or short anyone is. I have no idea. Only, from here up, that's how I know everybody. So that part is strange, because we get together like in January for a, like our big conference, and it's all 75 of us. Yeah. So
Wow.
to not have that is it's just crazy to do everything from here up.
Yeah. Wow. That's insane.
Yeah.
So let's not talk about COVID times. Let's kind of talk
Thank
about
you.
normal times. So as the sports and program manager for Southern California representing San Luis Obispo, what does your job entail? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, the best way I explain it is being the athletic director, but for Special Olympics. So it's everything. I mean, it was such an easy transition that way. That's exactly what it is. So we have sports. And what's interesting is, of course, we serve the high schools and middle schools, mostly, some elementary, but we're kind of developing in that area here on the Central Coast. And then the community. So there's kind of like two prongs to what we do. So I have athletes on some of my teams that are 60 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And so people kind of forget about that. But then at the same time, we serve all the schools. So, we have our sports. It's exactly what an athletic director does. It's scheduling games. We schedule transportation. It's the overnight accommodations, practices. We run primarily, except for our like paid staff that work in the offices, off of volunteers. So it's recruiting volunteers. It's recruiting coaches. It's recruiting help. It's game day operations and game day management. It's a lot. And there's only 2 of us in the office right now, so it's crazy.
And do you have specific districts in the county or schools in the county that are lending you facilities and allowing you use of facilities? You have your own facilities. What does that look like? Like if
it's
you
interesting.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting because at the high school, sometimes our facilities are limited, but everybody wanted us always to have 2 gyms, just trying to accommodate everybody. But now it's like I have to find all my own facilities. And so that part gets really interesting, because now I'm competing with every other club and travel and, every other organization around. But we do have good relationships with, with school districts, with churches, with just a lot of those places that have facilities. And so we have some of that set up already. We do have some pretty serious concerns and worries about what it's going to look like. I mean, a lot of these like municipalities and, Parks and Rec and schools are talking about doing lotteries for facilities. So that is a little scary.
Yeah, I know Coach Farley is trying to pack in like 8 teams into the gym in the next 3 months, right?
Totally.
And then you've got some coaches wanting the gym to themselves for their practice.
No, and that's exactly right. And so I think at the very least, we will be sharing with some other organizations that are also trying to get practices in. But, for the first bit, like we are virtual only until at least July 1st.
Okay.
So, yeah. So once we have like our own phased return activity, just because our population is largely in part immunocompromised. So we're not in a huge rush to get back, but when we get back, we'll be in groups of 10 or less. So we're hoping to find a little park here and there, or I think golf is on that list. So we might try to get on the golf course a little bit, but yeah, it's it's that part is a little scary. As facilities
Mhm.
are just so hard to come by already. And then to have just now everyone is competing, it's going to be nuts.
So what are some of the sports and programs that you guys have on a typical schedule, in a rotating basis that you offer?
Yeah, so right now it's virtual. So we are doing some different virtual activities, and it's hard.
I said
because
typical. I said typical. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
we agreed
so
to not
crazy.
talk about COVID. No.
Well, it's interesting. I bring up virtual again because we've actually, like, for everyone, it's been crazy. And a lot of our athletes don't love it because the whole point of them being in Special Olympics is they get to go and be with their friends and get to practice and get out of the house or out of the group home. Well, what we're realizing is we are now going to be able to access, and we already have been able to access and provide programming for a whole new group of athletes that we weren't able to do that before.
Oh,
So thinking of like maybe athletes in group homes that can't get out, or athletes, maybe that are in a wheelchair, or in, maybe are medically fragile. We haven't been able to reach them before because everything has been in person, and it's like, well, we do sports or not. And so now it's really, really neat that we are going to be able to access and provide programming for those athletes. So that's like a big thing we're working on right now. And it's exciting. But for those athletes that like don't love virtual, they are going to get back out. And normally in the summer, we offer bowling. Okay. And that's going to be interesting because Paso just closed during COVID. So it's like, so we use Cal Poly. I think there's one in Pismo. It's like, so that's a little tricky. And then we offer, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of anything that's an anomaly. In the winter, we offer floor hockey. So that's like something that like the schools don't really get to do. But then you're thinking, tennis, basketball, softball. Oh gosh, bocce. Like bocce is another one that I have to learn a lot about because that's not a high school sport.
How about pickleball?
We've had a lot of requests for that.
Really?
And yeah. And so we are part of course, our chapter is part of a bigger organization, Special Olympics. Like people don't know that Special Olympics is international. So there's SONA, Special Olympics North America, and then there's international. So it's a worldwide movement. And so we kind of get like direction. So we put in requests, but we of course get direction from SOI and SONA. So we've heard a lot of requests for pickleball though. So it's one of those things that's emerging. It's definitely becoming more popular.
It's phenomenal because you don't have to be a great pickleball player to just go out and learn the game and then dominate after playing for like an hour. It's like, I feel like you can get really good at pickleball really fast, and it's super competitive.
Yeah. And I think I think our athletes hear that and they see it because it's just, you see it kind of out and about now. And so, we've started to have some requests for that. So it'll be interesting, I think, as that grows even more, where that maybe is something we can fit in somewhere.
Yeah. What about esports? Is that something that you guys are tackling at this point?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. That was definitely in a lot of conversation.
Yeah.
For that same reason, is that you're able to reach athletes that may not have access or transportation or able to get to the field or to the gym. So they kind of did some like testing on that over the summer. They kind of put a pause on it, so I'm not sure if that's going to come to fruition, but it's been in the discussion, and some staff were testing it out just to see if that's something we could do.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So Coach Farley,
CIF was headed that way too. No, CIF was headed that way.
Mr. Mack had mentioned that CIF was having those discussions, so that's kind of interesting. Coach Farley said that he's got you on speed dial. That he's been checking in with you. He's actually joining us right now.
Yay!
Joe, how are you?
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. You have. Oh, we're getting a reflection from your glasses. It looked like you had sunglasses on there for a minute.
I have to do this on my phone, so the trying to squint hurts my eyes a little bit. I guess I'm getting old, so.
So we've had connectivity issues all day today from the campuses, and and then Lindsay at home connecting issues again. I had Coach Crow on the phone earlier. I was holding the phone up to the microphone, and he was talking through the microphone, and I guess it came out okay on the other end, but yeah. So Joe, now's your time. We've got the legend, the veteran, on with us to answer any questions that you might have with anything that you need.
Well, I think the show only goes till 9. So
That's
with
true.
all my questions, we'd be on here till about 1 p.m. So, and some things are probably even foreign to her because I don't think she was the athletic director during the pandemic and having all sports going on at once. So she seems pretty relaxed sitting on that couch, though.
Yeah, doesn't she?
Working from home. Yeah, I get to Zoom with some athletes later, and they just tell me about their day and what's going on. And yeah, it's a little different pace.
Right. Well, that's
Rubbing it
wild.
in.
All right, Lindsay, before I let you go, is there anything that you want to just leave with us? What can we as a community do to support you in the Special Olympics, and anything that you might need from us, from a volunteer level, from getting the word out, from I don't know, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. Like I said, we are a volunteer organization. We, except for our 75 staff within the chapter, we have to have coaches and volunteers. So, when things get back to normal, so we're hoping around July, we're always looking for volunteers. And that does not always mean coaching. People are like, oh my gosh, I can't commit that time to coaching. If you can, that's awesome. And there's a role in coaching, or an assistant coach, or a team volunteer for everyone. But if that's not your thing, a lot of times we're looking for someone just to help on game day. So we call them day of event volunteers. So like at spring regional games at Cuesta, that happens the first Friday every May. It's like, hey, can you come out and help with this or help with that just on that day? Or if we're running a basketball tournament or running a softball tournament, hey, can you come out on the day and do scorekeeper? Can you do announcing? Can you be the team liaison? I mean, there's just so many things like that too. So I want to give everybody our website because I think that will help, one, to be able to contact me, and then two, just to find out exactly what's going on because things are just changing all the time. Our website is www.sosc.org/SLOC.
SLOC.
So that's for SLO County. SOSC.org. Yep, there it is. So that I'm posting on there constantly just to provide information. And hopefully, there's something like community service. I mean, there's so many things that people can just jump on. We have a really great partnership with Cal Poly. They come help us at practices and games and stuff. So a lot of times people go, how do I get involved again? Like, that was awesome. Yeah. How do I do it again? Or how do I do it more? So we usually don't have people that are like, oh no, that's not for me. It usually is the other way.
And so that website can obviously take you to a calendar. It can take you to some of your social media sites, contact information, all of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So our buttons for our social media are on there, but we're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. So please like us on there and kind of see what's happening.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we definitely will. And anytime you want to come back on to spread the word, or if you need something specific at any given time, shoot me a text, DM me or whatever, and we'll make sure that we always make time for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. It's great to see you guys.
See ya. Thanks for being on.
All right. Go Eagles.
Go Eagles. See ya. All right, that's Lindsay Franklin, who is veteran Templeton Eagle family. So very cool to have her. She again is the manager of sports and programming for Special Olympics Southern California, representing San Luis Obispo County. And you can go on her website. The Special Olympics website is sosc.org/SLOC. And so there are links to all of their social stuff there, ways to get involved, ways to get a hold of them, and keep tabs on everything that is Special Olympics San Luis Obispo County. So thanks again, Lindsay, for being a part of the show, and we look forward to seeing you back here. All right. Joe, Mr. Farley, how are you, sir?
Good.
I got notes
trying
down
to
for you. Oh, there
work
you
on
are.
this connection a little bit. Got me. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Don't worry, Coach Crow. I hear you. Can you hear me?
Hear you. The video's a little fuzzy on my end, but I guess the words are more important than seeing my mug on here.
Well, we got a little bit of a delay, and so I guess we'll work through that. But Coach Crow is notifying the tech department to make sure that we get these feeds going a little more smoothly. So we'll see how that goes. What are some of the things that you want to get across to the public that we can post on our page, get out in terms of in-person attendance to events, any late breaking developments on all the activities and sports? The floor is yours, so go for it.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Basically, the main I want to get out is we posted to our Facebook page today, and I know Coach has already reached out to their athletes. We are allowing from the county guidelines, we're allowing up to 4 family members per athlete. So that's going to be a list that will be given to the coach, which will then to the front gate, and we check those names off as then. We also release the details on our streaming these on our Facebook post. So if you go on to nfhsnet.com and then search for Templeton Pool, you will be able to subscribe to that channel. And one thing that our Facebook post really good and a good reason why we went with every subscription, the school receives a little bit of money to help fundraise our program. The money we'll lose at some of these gates to pay for the officials will there. So that annual pass note right there says choose annual pass to participate in the high school support program. So it's a really cool deal. That's for the whole year. We're going to have a lot of a year's worth of athletics between now and the end of May. Any event that takes place in Volunteer Stadium or Thorndike Gym, we're also on getting.
All right. It seems like I've lost Coach Farley's feed on my end, which is a bummer. So I'll get an update recorded with him today, and I'll post that. But it sounds like up to 4 family members per athlete at the football games. Those athletes are going to provide a list to them, and then we'll go from there. Streaming capabilities. The NFHS network is going to stream the games. It's a year pass, and that money, a lot of that money goes back to the schools themselves. So we lost him. How about Anthony? Are you on?
Yes, sir. I'm right here. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
Good. Doing well.
All right. We had some connectivity issues with that last one. Were you able to hear them all right on your end?
No, not at all. Towards the end there, it was broken up.
Okay. But my feed's coming in clear, apparently, right?
Yep. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, well, that's good. So I'll have to get Coach Farley back on to talk more about that stuff later or tomorrow. So, hey, we're wrapping up. It's almost 9:00. What news and headlines do we want to leave everybody with?
I would like to just leave a recap of the Kristen Smart developments, if I can.
Yeah, go for it.
So just to recap everybody from Monday, there was a search warrant that did take place at Paul Flores's parents' house, that being Ruben and Susan Flores. The Sheriff's Department is not releasing any information as regards to what was found during that search. It is still an active investigation that's going on about 25 years now. And they did dig a portion of the property yesterday, that being with shovels and I think can't think of the name of the like DNA detector, for lack of a better term.
It's a radar detection. Basically, it's ground penetrating, and so what it does is it sends signals anytime that there's something on the ground that is an anomaly, like a rock or something that isn't normal terrain, right? So it picks up those radars.
Yeah, so they had that over the last couple of days. They had cadaver dogs as well, and just I have to shout out to Chris Lambert, the owner of the Your Own Backyard podcast that's kind of surrounding the whole Kristen Smart case. I have to commend him and his work. And then there is also a 30-minute interview with Susan. I'm drawing back on the last name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Susan Flores is Paul's mom, and
Flores.
she actually, for the first time in the last 25 years, went on public record with KSBY yesterday in an exclusive interview, which was interesting. So, yeah, you posted the link to that, right?
Yes, I did in the chat. If you want me to post it again, I can real quick.
Yeah, awesome.
Just give me 1 second. So yeah, other than that, there was a report of smoke in Morro Bay, reported by the CHP. Nothing to be worried about. I didn't see any other releases about it. I think that they're burning some piles of trees or something to kind of get rid of the dry brush that's in the area. I'm not sure. I didn't get a whole lot of information about that, but that's something to not report if you see it in the Morro Bay area.
Awesome. Well, Anthony, thanks again for joining us today. Anthony Reed is the owner of the Facebook page Paso Robles Incidents in Action. He reports real time, 24/7, any incidents going on in the North County. And so he has agreed to help us out with the news and the headlines on a daily basis. And so if you have any incidents that you want to report to Anthony, you can text him at 805-423-1541. All right, Anthony, we'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. And I'll post the link to that interview in the chat so you can see it.
Perfect. All right. Have a good day.
All right.
Thanks.
We'll see you tomorrow.
See ya. All right, that's Anthony Reed. Very cool. That's our show for today. Real quick, we're running long. It's St. Patrick's Day. Just going over Pappy McGregor's got stuff going on. The Poorhouse has stuff going on. Tent City in Atascadero has stuff going on. Jackson Templeton, Barrel House Brewing Company, Kelco's Beer, Streetside Ale House, Santa Maria Brewing Company. All of those places have stuff going on today in celebration. Oh, and order corned beef and cabbage from Amy and Jamie's place if you want. So Google them, pick up from 4 to 6. Hey, special thanks to all of our guests that joined us today. We were thrilled to have Lindsay Franklin, an Eagle, on with us, who's now representing the Special Olympics. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Mr. Asplin and Mr. Burnett, for coming on. Coach Crow, thanks for your time. Mr. Lewis, thanks for the history lesson. Mr. Mack, as always, you're awesome. And of course, Anthony Reed with Incidents and Actions. Oh, And I will circle back with Joe Farley to get some clarification on the stuff that was breaking up with our feed here at the end in terms of athletics. So that's it. Hope you guys have a great day. Be safe out there. See ya.